No one ever truly remembers the exact moment of death. Yet, inside your skull, something extraordinary happens in those final seconds, something science has only recently begun to understand. The brain doesn't go silent when the heart stops. It flares. A storm of light and electricity bursts to life, as if your mind is trying to defy extinction itself. Neuroscientists once believed that consciousness ends the instant the body fails. But new evidence has changed everything. In study after study, brain scans have revealed a powerful surge of gamma waves, the same kind that fire when you reawake, alert, and fully conscious, occurring seconds after clinical death. It's as if your brain knows the end has come and responds by flooding every neuron with one final symphony of energy. In 2022, doctors accidentally recorded the brain of an 87-year-old man as he died from cardiac arrest. What they saw shocked them: rhythmic oscillations linked to memory recall, dreaming, and consciousness. For nearly 30 seconds after his last heartbeat, his mind lit up like a universe collapsing in reverse. It was the first direct glimpse of what might happen to all of us, the final moment when awareness meets eternity. But what's actually happening inside your brain when this occurs? When the heart stops, blood flow and oxygen drop rapidly. The brain, starved of fuel, goes into overdrive. Neurons fire wildly, releasing waves of glutamate and electrical activity. It's not random chaos. It's structured, synchronized energy, the same patterns linked to perception and memory. Some scientists believe this is the brain's last desperate attempt to preserve the self, to store, compress, or replay life one final time. Others think it's a built-in survival reflex, a final burst of clarity meant to keep you conscious long enough to understand what's happening. This moment, the intersection between awareness and nothingness, may be the most intense experience your mind will ever produce. People who've been revived after cardiac arrest describe strikingly similar sensations: a tunnel of light, an overwhelming calm, a feeling of watching themselves from above. For decades, those accounts were dismissed as imagination. Now neuroscience is finding real, measurable evidence that the dying brain can produce such experiences. But what does that mean? Are these visions just the brain's last fireworks display, or the beginning of something beyond our understanding? Philosophers once said that death is the moment the soul leaves the body. Neuroscience doesn't use that word. But what if this soul is simply the brain's last pattern of perfect coherence, the ultimate moment of self-awareness before it fades into entropy? That final surge may be your consciousness integrating every memory, every feeling, every connection you've ever had, a final act of synthesis before silence. If you've ever wondered why people say their lives flash before their eyes, that may not be metaphor. It could be neurobiology. The brain is not a passive organ. It fights to the very end. Even after clinical death, cells continue to communicate for hours. Some glial cells, the caretakers of the brain, actually grow more active, expanding and repairing long after the heartbeat stops. In a way, death isn't an event, it's a process. For those who study consciousness, this discovery opens a terrifying and beautiful question. If your brain remains active after death, is consciousness truly gone? Or does awareness linger, suspended in the fading light of your neurons? Some researchers believe that consciousness is a byproduct of complexity. When the brain's network collapses, so does the mind. But others argue the opposite, that consciousness is not created by the brain, but channeled through it, like a signal through a receiver. If that's true, then the final surge could be more than biological noise. It could be the last flicker of something returning to its source. To the outside observer, death looks like stillness. To the person inside, it might feel infinite. Time perception breaks down. Moments stretch, memories loop, sensations echo. You may feel outside your body, watching as the line between self and universe dissolves. From the first breath you take to the last, your brain defines your experience of reality. But when death comes, that boundary begins to blur. The brain no longer just observes the world, it becomes the world. Neuroscientists call it the death surge. Philosophers might call it transcendence. Both might be describing the same thing through different languages. And maybe that's the point. Perhaps what we call death isn't a sudden end, but a transformation, the final transition of the mind into whatever lies beyond our ability to measure. We don't know if consciousness continues, We don't know if awareness fades or evolves, but we do know this. In your last moments, your brain doesn't surrender quietly. It burns brighter than ever, a final blaze of identity, memory, and meaning, before returning to the vast unknown from which it came. Maybe death isn't darkness. Maybe it's light, and the last thing you ever see is everything you've ever been.